only for Tyler Perry to admit he did start a rumor that I was difficult to work with. He lied, only for Tyler Perry to admit I was wrong.
Before we get started, obviously, I'm sure everybody's heard the news by now that I will not be returning to ESPN. I found out this information a little earlier in the week.
All of these big dick deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is, TG Jakes, any of them. All lies will be exposed. That's all.
Shannon Sharpe might just be carrying a grudge against Mo'Nique and Katt Williams. And honestly, can you blame him after the way things went down? Katt's interview wasn't just a success, it was a cultural takeover. One sit down and suddenly clips were everywhere, flooding timelines, dominating group chats, and making Shannon's couch the hottest spot for raw, no-filter confessions. Then Mo'Nique slid in, dropped her blackballing bombshell, and name-dropped some serious heavyweights that had Hollywood shaking. At that point, it didn't feel like Shannon was just hosting anymore. He was running the industry's unofficial confession booth, letting stars air out secrets usually buried behind closed doors. And that's when things spun out of control. Then came the slip-ups. A late-night IG live that he probably wishes never saw daylight. A messy lawsuit with audio receipts bouncing around online. Headlines so wild people had to read them twice just to believe it. So the real question is, did those explosive interviews paint a target on Shannon's back? Or did his own missteps crack the door wide open for the chaos that followed? Because let's be real. Katt's sit-down didn't just trend, it owned the internet. Those names, those outrageous claims, the jaw-dropping stories, people were battling in the comments for days. That full interview wasn't just pulling in views, it swallowed the entire feed. And overnight, Club Shay Shay went from a casual podcast to the stage for no-holds-barred truth. You're not just the interviewer anymore, you're part of the story. People might be cheering for you, but at the same time, they're lurking, waiting for that one slip to tear you down. And that's exactly what it felt like with Shannon. Yeah, he was hotter than ever, but the vibe around him was getting colder by the day. Those viral moments didn't just make him famous, they made him a moving target. Which is why that IG Live meltdown, the lawsuit with audio proof, and the job drama had folks whispering, "This ain't no accident, somebody's setting the stage." After Katt's bombshell rocked the culture, Mo'Nique came in and doubled down. She sat in that same chair, broke down how she was blackballed, laid out the deals, and straight up called out the names she said were behind it. From that point on, it was clear. Club Shay Shay wasn't just a podcast on a lucky streak. It was turning into the spot where Hollywood's dirty laundry got aired live. The reaction? Instant chaos. Clips ran wild across every feed, old scandals started creeping back up, and people who never even cared about Shannon for sports suddenly tuned in just to watch the culture convos. And with every new viral clip, the stakes kept climbing higher. This wasn't about comedy anymore. It was about careers, money, and who still got a seat at the table. Nobody forgot that late-night IG Live. That broadcast never should have seen daylight. Shannon didn't try the old, "I got hacked" excuse either. He owned it, addressed it on his show, and tried to move forward. But the internet wasn't about to let that slide. The reactions split instantly. Some folks clowned it as 50 Shades of Shay, while others laughed, saying life had just humbled him. One person even pointed out the irony. UNC had just been throwing Ocho under the bus days earlier, calling him unprofessional, and boom, look who ended up on blast. But no matter which side people landed on, the conversation wasn't about his guests anymore. It was locked on him. And just when the laughter was starting to fade, boom, the lawsuit hit. This wasn't gossip, it was paperwork. A woman named Gabriela Zuniga filed a $50 million lawsuit against Shannon. Real case, real court, and her camp came strapped with audio receipts that tore across the internet like wildfire. Clips got reposted nonstop, debates raged, and everybody thought they had the full story from a 30-second soundbite. Shannon clapped back hard, saying the clip was twisted, chopped out of context, and nowhere near what people thought. But once something like that hits the web, you can't shove it back in the box. It takes on a life of its own. Fans split again. Some said, "Let the courts handle it," while others treated that viral clip like it was the final verdict. Behind the scenes, you could feel the energy shift. Brands and sponsors didn't rush out statements. They just went silent, watching and waiting. That's how it works. Nobody wants to stand too close until they know how the fire burns out. Meanwhile, Shannon kept showing up, lights on, cameras rolling, even with a $50 million case hanging over his head. After the court drama, the job news hit, and it hit like a wrecking ball. One week, Shannon was smiling on TV like nothing was wrong, and the next, gone. No farewell speech, no tearful send-off, just a quiet exit that left fans stunned. And the timing? Brutal. It landed right next to a big family moment, and you could hear that pain in his voice when he spoke on it. Losing a gig like that isn't just about the check. It cuts at your pride, your status, your whole identity. But here's the twist. Losing TV didn't mean losing his people. The podcast was still racking up crazy numbers, clips were still taking over social feeds, and the bookings kept rolling in. But the vibe had shifted. Without the TV badge, folks stopped calling him the host with the viral couch and started treating him as the headline. Shannon Sharpe wasn't just covering culture anymore. He was the culture story. Then came summer 2025 and another blow. This time from Gamita Tillman, who filed a $20 million defamation suit against Shannon, Ochochinco, and Shishi Media. She claimed they spread lies about her marriage after that viral Usher concert moment, and she wasn't laughing about it one bit. This wasn't just petty social media back and forth. This was an actual lawsuit, filed in court with receipts attached. Headlines moved fast, clips got yanked and reposted, debates erupted over what was said, what was implied, and whether Shannon and crew had crossed the line. And once again, he wasn't reacting to a guest's drama. He was the drama. Some outlets whispered that the case was dismissed in federal court, but those reports never hit as loud as the original headlines. Not every platform ran the same updates, and anyone who's been close to a courtroom knows how messy paperwork and timing can get. Bottom line, the facts are this. It was filed, it made noise, and even with dismissal talk later, the stain still lingers depending on where you look. And the damage? Oh, it was real. Cases like that freeze up bookings, make brands pull back, and keep your name wrapped in controversy instead of your actual work. Then came the fan theories. Some swear those back-to-back Katt and Mo'Nique interviews triggered the whole domino effect, while others claim Hollywood decided to clap back and remind Shannon who really runs the industry. That version sounds clean. Shannon gave people a live mic, they spilled raw truth, and the machine made sure to strike back. But maybe it wasn't a setup at all. Maybe once the spotlight burned that bright, there was zero room for mistakes. One IG slip, a leaked DM, one on-air misstep, and suddenly the fall begins. What can't be denied is how hot it got. After those interviews, the pressure never cooled down. Every week brought a new clip, a new headline, a new reason for people to either defend Shannon or drag him through the dirt. And once those lawsuits landed, it wasn't gossip anymore. It was legal, it was public, and it had real consequences. So here we are. The paperwork's done, but the questions aren't. Was Shannon taken down by the system, or did he load the gun and hand it over himself? With TV gone and court battles still hanging over him, his next move could either flip the whole story or seal it shut for good. And trust, if his name pops up in just one more headline, we'll know this isn't just another chapter. This is the turning point where it all either blows up or ends completely. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and see you in the next one.